Front and Center. A focus on important and significant developments affecting the lives of Filipinos, not only in the Philippines, but also those living and working around the world. Join us in Front and Center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Good morning to all of our listeners here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Welcome to another edition of Front and Center, where we put very significant issues affecting our country, the Philippines, as our program title says, Front and Center. On behalf of our colleague Jerome Toledo, I'm your host for today, Steph Vicente, joining you all for a 30-minute worth of talk discussing important matters with our government officials, people from the private sector, or even members of the academe. As seen through our video live streaming, you may watch and listen to Front and Center through our Facebook page. Just search Radyo Pilipinas World Service. The same goes for our official YouTube channel. Meanwhile, we also have an audio live streaming thanks to the Evox PBS receiver app. You may download the said application via Google Play Store if you are using an Android phone, or via App Store if you are using an iPhone. Once you have entered the Evox PBS receiver app, just find the logo or icon of Radyo Pilipinas World Service in order for you to be able to listen live to our programs such as Front and Center. We are also back on shortwave radio starting last December, as Front and Center is part of our English service, which airs from 10 o'clock to 11:30 in the morning, that's Philippine Standard Time. You may listen to us via the following shortwave frequencies: 12.020 MHz, 15.640 MHz, and 17.665 MHz. For today's edition of Front and Center, we are going to talk about the Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT, preparing a new policy that will require all social media users in the Philippines to be verified. DICT Secretary Henry Aguda said the policy aims to strengthen regulation and accountability in cyberspace. Speaking on the sidelines of the Globe Starlink partnership signing in Taguig City, Aguda said a department order will be released as early as this week. According to the DICT chief, the policy is now under review by the department's policy and legal teams and has so far encountered no issues. Once approved, social media platforms will be required to verify the identities of their users. Aguda explained that verified accounts will make it easier to trace users who commit cybercrimes or other online offenses. The proposed measure also seeks to reduce the number of trolls and artificial intelligence or AI-generated bot accounts on social media. A troll is someone who hides behind anonymous or fake accounts to post offensive or provocative content online. The DICT announcement comes amid concerns over sexually explicit and non-consensual images generated by an AI chatbot developed by Elon Musk's company xAI. Secretary Aguda added that social media platforms are willing to comply but are waiting for clear policy direction from the government, as self-regulation remains difficult for them. He said once the government provides the legal basis, platforms are expected to follow. In order to have an in-depth discussion on this matter, we are going to be joined by Digital Pinoy's national campaigner, Ronald Gustilo, when we come back after a few reminders from the station.
Garantisadong solusyon at aksyon ang handog sa iyo ng bagong Pilipinas Presidential Action Center. Sundin lang ang mga sumusunod para makakuha ng appointment. Para sa wala pang eGov.ph app account, panoorin ang video para malaman kung paano gumawa ng account. Kung meron ng account sa eGov.ph app, mag-login dito. Saka hanapin ang online registration tab para sa bagong Pilipinas Presidential Action Center. Pindutin ito para makita ang available na government services. Piliin ang serbisyo na iyong kailangan mula sa listahan. I-upload ang requirements ng serbisyong kailangan mo. Pumili ng petsa at oras kung kailan nais pumunta sa bagong Pilipinas Presidential Action Center. I-submit na ang iyong application at bigyan ng pagkakataon na ma-review ang iyong isinumiting requirements. Hintayin ang QR code para sa kumpirmasyon ng iyong schedule. Makakatanggap ka ng text message para malaman kung naaprubahan ito. Sakaling hindi ito maaprubahan, makakatanggap ka rin ng text message para ipaalam ang kulang na requirements sa kasubukang mag-register ulit. Kung nakatanggap na ng kumpirmasyon, maaari nang pumunta sa bagong Pilipinas Presidential Action Center sa napiling schedule, dala ang QR code at ang mga isinumiting requirements. Huwag kalimutang dumating sa itinakdang araw at oras ng iyong appointment. Pinapaalala rin na siguruhing may kumpirmadong schedule bago pumunta sa bagong Pilipinas Presidential Action Center para maiwasang magpabalik-balik. Simple at user-friendly ang pagpapa-appointment dito, kaya huwag nang mangamba dahil sa bagong Pilipinas Presidential Action Center, tulong ay abot kamay na.
Itinuloy na po natin ang zero balance billing. Libre po. Ibig sabihin, ang serbisyo sa basic accommodation sa ating mga DOH na ospital, wala nang babayaran ang pasyente.
Po, ang dami pong challenge, hindi po namin alam kung saan namin kukunin, ganon, nag-iisip kung paano namin mababayaran. Siyempre po, masayang masaya, super saya po dahil na zero billing po kami. Opo, malaking ano po talaga, malaking tulong po. Mabilis lang din po.
Bayad na ang bill ninyo. Uulitin ko, wala nang kailangan bayaran ng pasyente basta sa DOH Hospital dahil bayad na po ang bill ninyo.
Naiiyak ako kasi sobrang saya. Maraming salamat po, Mr. President Bongbong Marcos Jr. Hindi kami nagkamali ng taong ihinalal.
Front and center. Front and center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Welcome back to Front and Center, and again, I'm your host for today, Steph Vicente. As mentioned earlier, we are now joined by Digital Pinoy's national campaigner, Ronald Gustilo, on the Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT, preparing a new policy that will require all social media users in the Philippines to be verified. Sir Ronald, welcome again to Front and Center. This is Steph Vicente of Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Hello, good morning, Steph. And good morning to your listeners as well.
Hi, good morning again, Sir Ronald. Sir Ronald, what is the Digital Pinoy's initial reaction to DICT's proposal requiring verified users on all social media platforms in the country?
Well, of course, we were a bit concerned because this was previously raised by by a congressman that was removed by Congress, ano. So what we saw before is that the idea of a social media verification or social media registration was to is an overreach, no. So we reached out to Secretary Henry Aguda to seek for clarifications regarding this matter because one of the concerns regarding social media verification is that it's a paid service provided by social media platforms. So for you to be a verified user, you have to pay. Second, there are issues regarding data privacy. So, and third, issues on civil liberties. All right. So, Secretary Aguda first clarified that he is pushing that the platforms will implement a program that will enable the public to register to validate their social media accounts for free. So what he aims is that this will not be for profit, but should be a free service for all legitimate social media users. Second, regarding the issue on data privacy, he emphasized that social media platforms should be compliant with the Data Privacy Act of 2012. So he will stress this. He will make this a point to the social media platforms because one of the concerns is the unauthorized processing of information and the sharing of information from the platforms to their partners. And lastly, regarding the civil liberties issue, uh, he mentioned that he will consider that it could be used for profiling, and that he will ensure that the policy will address the concerns regarding profiling and unintended or intended or unintended surveillance through our social media platforms, or rather social media accounts.
Um, Sir Ronald, it was mentioned that user verification will strengthen accountability and make it easier to trace cyber crimes. How can everyone balance this goal with concerns over data privacy and freedom of expression? How can we have these two concepts go hand in hand?
Well, that's a matter that should be addressed by the policy that the ICT is trying to push, because uh, one should not trump the other, 'di ba? Hindi pwedeng hindi pa pwede na yung isang panig lang yung tinitignan. So I think the ICT needs to have a balance to ensure that while civil liberties are being protected, such as freedom of speech, freedom of opinion, they should still be able to do their mandate, to exercise their mandate, because we understand that the current DICT leadership wants to also to address online harassments, online bullying, and other crimes perpetrated online. So they have to recognize which is legitimate free speech and which are harmful speech, including, and that includes fake news, misinformation, and disinformation.
Yes. And of course, in light of recent issues involving sexual, explicit, and non consensual AI generated images, particularly in the social media platform X, do you believe user verification can help curb online abuse and exploitation?
Now, here's the thing. Uh, in X, the social media platform X, even verified users perpetrate misinformation. They also perpetrate disinformation. They also make fake news, and some also post pornographic materials. So this is something that DICT should address with X, not just with Grok, not just regarding the Grok AI software platform, but also with the whole X policy. Because as we know, the reason why Elon Musk bought X is because he felt like the platform is too conservative, or rather, yeah, too conservative, and they are too strict with their policy. So when he bought out X, he basically opened the doors for everyone. If you want to post pornographic materials, it's okay. If you want to post hate speech, it's okay. So it's something that the DICT should address to X as well.
And of course, I mentioned earlier in the introduction that the policy measure to be released aims to reduce trolls and AI generated bot accounts. From the perspective of Digital Pinoys, will mandatory verification be effective in addressing these problems? Can we say goodbye to trolls if this policy would be implemented?
Well, as I've been using, personally, I've been using the verification. I have a verified account, so I know how it works, and it's a bit stringent. You cannot upload photos that doesn't look like you, and it doesn't look like the ID that you have. You cannot use aliases using that account. So it might be a good way to weed out the fake accounts and the bots. We see it that way. However, we also have to ensure that the privacy of persons should still be respected and recognized by the platform. So I think this is something that the policy of the DICT, that the policy that DICT is crafting, and the platform should agree upon, that privacy and security of their users should also be considered when they if they when they issue the policy and implement the policy.
Mm-mm. And now, I'm going to ask about the risk to actual legitimate users. Are there risks that verified only accounts could discourage whistleblowers, activists, or ordinary users who rely on anonymity for safety?
Yes, if you want to expose anomalies using by maintaining your while maintaining your anonymity, that will be a problem, because with this policy, I don't think that there will be any anonymous accounts anymore. So it will be a problem for a person who wants to expose. So this is also something, I think this is also something that the social media platforms are trying to reconcile. Initially, while we had a discussion with Secretary Aguda, we also had discussions with other social media platforms, and it's one of their concerns, because yes, they agree that bot accounts should be removed, but they also want people who expose anomalies to be also protected and not be easily targeted using their platforms.
Hmm. And what safeguards should be in place to ensure that users' personal information collected for verification is protected from data breaches or misuse from the perspective of Digital Pinoys?
Well, of course, number one, it should be compliant with the Data Privacy Act. Number two, the the National Privacy Commission should be ready to implement penalties, should be transparent, and implement penalties if ever there will be a data breach involving social media platforms. And of course, these social media platforms should also implement globally accepted cybersecurity standards, so that there will be so that data breaches will be prevented. But of course, we know that once this will be implemented, these social media platforms will now be one of the will the sorry the social media platforms will be targeted more often by cyber criminals, no, for data breach. So that their data will be their the informations being stored with them will be compromised, no. So the platform should also be given enough time for them to prepare, given that they will be handling so many sensitive personal informations.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. And of course, it was said that platforms are willing to implement verification but need clear government policy, as you have mentioned earlier. How much responsibility should fall on tech companies versus regulators?
Well, first, the tech company should be able to they should be able to preserve the integrity of the information that they are securing. Of course, they should be ready in case a cyber attack is launched against them. They should be able to physically and digitally protect all the informations being stored on their databases. Meanwhile, the regulators, they should ensure that the safeguards are in place, not just for cybersecurity, not just the cybersecurity safeguards, but also the safeguards to protect free speech, expression of opinion, and of course, if they should also be ready to implement measures that will hold social media platforms accountable in case there will be a data breach.
Mm. And you have mentioned earlier in your answers in the past questions for this interview, the Data Privacy Act. Do existing laws like the Data Privacy Act or even the Cybercrime Prevention Act sufficiently covers what policy the ICT would release, or is new legislation needed?
Well, regarding the regarding that matter, uh, so some legal personalities that we've talked to thinks that there should be a legislation to allow that policy. But the ICT insists that a department order will suffice. No, so I think once the policy is issued, uh, the legal law, the community, everyone, the lawyers should, and probably even the government should review if the policy is compliant with our laws, no? So mahalaga kasi na ano, hindi po pwede na merong provision na posibleng lumabag sa batas at hindi rin uubra na ano na bitin yung policy na ilalabas, no? Kaya we are thankful that the DICT is taking their time to review if the policy is that to ensure that the policy is legally binding and legally compliant, no? So that is the reason din naman why Secretary Aguda is not rushing to release the policy, because he wants the policy and the legal department of DICT to ensure that the policy they will be issuing soon is constitutional and enforceable.
Hmm. Aside from mandatory user verification, what other measures can actually help address trolls, AI abuse, and cyber crimes without limiting online freedoms?
But I think the actual blocking of AI, artificial intelligence platforms who are not complying with our laws is a major deterrent, because these platforms, these software developers who are not following our laws are now talking to the ICT. They are now discussing how they can comply, like like what happened to Grok, diba?
Hmm.
After the ICT blocked Grok, ex-AI executives immediately reached out to the ICT to see where they can how they can comply. So it's one deterrent that the DICT has on their arsenal.
Hmm. And you have mentioned that although there are consultations already regarding this department order, should the DICT conduct even a more broader public consultation before issuing the department order, and why is this important?
Yes, DICT Secretary Aguda mentioned that he will still launch public consultations regarding this. No, so the only reason that we had an initial consultation with him is because we reached out to him ahead after we heard on the news that he wants mandatory social media verification, but he assured that there will be more public consultations regarding this policy, and it's very important because he wants the stakeholders to be aware of the policy that they will be issuing, and of course he wants their inputs as well.
And before I let you go, Sir Ronald, finally, what should social media users, especially here in our country, should understand about this proposed policy, and what key questions should they be asking the government?
Well, of course, number one, I think the public should understand where the ACT is coming from. The ACT wants to eradicate the misinformation network that are being used by through that is yung misinformation network kasi na gumagamit ng mga troll farms. It's one issue that the ICT wants to address. So it's a very good measure for the ICT. Their heart is in the right place. So we have to understand that it's for everyone's benefit din naman. However, the public should look out and ensure that their freedom of speech will not be trampled upon. And of course, it's also a welcome development that the DICT wants this service to be free, diba? So this should not be a burden for the people, but also the DICT should ensure that a repeat of the SIM registration mess during the early stages of the SIM registration would not happen again. No, so they should plan ahead on how to help our kababayans who are in geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas have their social media accounts registered, because as we know, social media is also being used in schools, even in far-flung areas. Now that the ICT has been very successful in implementing the National Fiber Backbone project, as many geographically isolated areas now have internet connection. They also have to ensure that the people there will have their social media accounts verified seamlessly.
And with that, thank you very much, Sir Ronald, for joining us again here in the program Front and Center. Until next time, mabuhay po kayo.
Thank you very much for having us, and mabuhay din po kayo. Magandang araw po at mag-iingat tayong lahat.
And we were just joined by Digital Pinoy's national campaigner Ronald Gustilo. Before we end the program Front and Center, we will give way first to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. as he honors the nation's athletes who participated in the 33rd Southeast Asian or SEA Games last December 9 to 2025 in Thailand. Here is Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Mula sa Presidential Communications Office at Radyo Pilipinas, ito ang Presidential Live Event. Presidential Live Event.
Welcome sa ating mga atleta, at nakakatuwa dahil napapanood ko lang kayo sa TV. Mabutit nakikita ko kayo ng personal. Congratulations. Sa ating PSC Chairman, Pato Gregorio, the Philippine Olympic Committee President, Bambula Tolentino, PSC Commissioner Olivia Bongku, and the other PSC officials. Of course, our First Lady Luis Araneta Marcos, and of course, the most important people here today, our athletes and those who have brought pride to our country once again. Fellow workers in government, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, magandang araw sa inyong lahat. It is always an honor and a joy to be surrounded by high-achieving athletes like we have today. You are a shining example of what can be done with discipline, with commitment, with passion, with sacrifice, and it shows that we can achieve what others might think is impossible. Pinagdiriwan natin ngayong araw ang dangal, tibay ng loob, at pambihirang kakayahan ng atletang Pilipino. Noong ika-33 Southeast Asian Games na ginanap sa Thailand, magiting na kinatawan ng ating bansa ng mahigit 1,500 atleta. Ito ang pinakamalaking Philippine team sa kasaysayan ng Southeast Asian Games. Dala ang bandila ng ating bansa. Pinakita ninyo kung ano ang kayang marating ng atletang Pilipino. At sa pagkatapos ng kompetisyon, hindi naman ninyo kami binigo. Nakuha ng Pilipinas ang ika-6 na ranggo at kagaya ng nabanggit nga ng ating Olympics chairman, dapat mas mataas pa yan. Pero di bale, babawi nga tayo. At bukod pa ron, nakamit natin ang 277 medalya. Mas maraming medalya kumpara nung nakaraang 2023 at 2021 na SEA Games. Buong pagmamalaki namin kinikilala ang husay at galing na ipinamalas ninyo. Ngunit, may medalya man o wala, panalo kayong lahat sa puso ng isang bayanang Pilipino. Maraming salamat. May mga tagumpay rin na naisulat sa pahina ng kasaysayan ng sport sa Pilipinas. Kay Alex Ayala, binabati ka namin sa nakamit mong gintong medalya sa women's singles tennis. Ikaw ang kauna-unahang Pilipina na gold medalist sa paligsahang ito matapos ng 26 na taon. Hangad namin ang iyong tagumpay sa mga susunod pa na kompetisyon na papasukan mo. Kay EJ Buena, saludo kami sa iyong ika-4 na SEA Games na gold medal sa men's pole vault. You have all proved that success is not accidental. It is earned every time you choose to show up and you choose to rise again and again. Sa ating Philippine Women's National Football Team, sa kauna-unahang pagkakataon na naisama ang women's football sa SEA Games, kayo rin ang unang nag-uwi ng ginto. Maraming salamat sa makasaysayang tagumpay na ito. Ipinakita ninyo ang angking galing at lakas ng mga kababaihang Pilipino. Tawag nga ito, this is certainly a herstory that is one for the books. Bilang pagkikilala sa inyong natatanging tagumpay, mula sa tanggapan ng Pangulo, tatapatan natin ng konting cash incentive na nakalaan sa ating mga nanalong atleta. Para sa mga gold medalists, may tig-isa kayong 300,000 piso for the gold medals. Sa mga nag-uwi naman ng silver, may 150,000 piso ang bawat isa sa inyo. Para sa mga bronze medalists, may 60,000 naman ang makukuha ninyo. Magkakaloob din ng Office of the President ng tigsa 10,000 piso ang mga atletang nanalo sa ibang palaro bukod sa SEA Games. Batid natin walang katumbas na halaga ang inyong sakripisyo. Ngunit, tanggapin ninyo ito bilang simbolo ng pagpupugay at pasasalamat ng mamamayang Pilipino sa inyong kabayanihan. Nawa ay marami pang kabataang Pilipino ang tumahak sa katulad na landas ng inyong nailakbay. Kaya isinusulong ng pamahalaan ang pag-angat ng kalidad ng sports development sa ating bansa. Pinapalawak natin ang grassroots and youth sports program. Dinadagdagan natin ang mga kinakailangang pasilidad at mas pinapalakas pa natin ang suporta sa mga atletang lumalahok sa pandaigdigang entablado. Ginagawa natin ang lahat ng ito upang hubugin ang mga susunod na henerasyon na atletang Pilipino. Mga kabataang may pangarap, may paniniwala sa sarili at handang lumaban sa ngalan ng ating bandila. Higit sa pagkakilala sa mga suportang inyong natanggap, nais kong bigyan din ang kahalagaan ng disiplina. Ang disiplina ay hindi lamang susi sa panalo sa loob ng arena. Ito ay umuhubog sa ating pagkatao. Ang mamuhay ng may layunin, magsikap ng may kahulugan, at mangarap ng mga malinaw na direksyon. At sa tuwing pinipili natin kumilos ng may disiplina, sama-sama natin binubuo ang isang bansa na hindi sumusuko. Isang bansa patuloy na umaangat, nagpupunyagi at umuunlad. Muli, congratulations sa inyong lahat. Maraming salamat. Mabuhay ang atletang Pilipino! Mabuhay ang bagong Pilipinas!
Maraming salamat, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
And you just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. We would first like to thank our technical staff composed of Milo Jonella, Susan Aison, Hiro Lucero, and Justin Osias, who made this program possible. Thank you as well to our station manager, Mr. Ray Sampang. And of course, we would also like to express gratitude to our resource person for today, Mr. Ronald Gustilo, who is the national campaigner for the digital advocacy group, Digital Pinoys. Stay tuned here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service for more updates. And as we mentioned earlier, we're now back on shortwave radio. Front and Center is part of our English service, which airs from 10 o'clock to 11:30 in the morning. That's Philippine Standard Time. You may listen to us via the following shortwave frequencies: 12.020 MHz, 15.640 MHz, and 17.665 MHz. Until the next episode of our program, on behalf of Jerome Toledo, this has been your host for today, Steph Vicente. Good day and stay safe, everyone.
You have just heard and watched Front and Center. Front and Center. Join us again for another edition here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Front and Center.